Welcome to the Untrapped Podcast, where we're motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
What's up, guys? This is Keith Kalfas with the Untrapped Podcast. We have my good friend Steve DHondt from PMS, we'retheguys.com, landscaping business here in Michigan, Sterling Heights, Michigan. Bro, you got one of the baddest landscaping businesses. Oh, there I am. Here. The quality of your work I'm seeing on Facebook, Instagram is beautiful. It almost looks like artificial intelligence, these hardscaping, outdoor luxury living spaces. But I have you on today because I want to talk about business, but the mindset stuff.
Sure.
A couple weeks ago, we had Eric Reno on. He was sitting right where I was sitting. That was an amazing show. Go back and listen to that. It was talking about leveling up with Eric Reno, Steve DHondt, Keith Kalfas. So listen to that as well. It'll give you more context. But here, bro, you're here right now. It's just the winter. Are you guys done for the season?
We just finished. Last Friday. Yeah. I was power washing, finishing out the job. It was actually turning to ice when we power washed, and I clogged the drain in the street. So we had to have a environmental company and suck the drain. It was a right way to end the season. But yes, Friday we officially closed out. So
we were just literally talking about that, how you do sales and marketing, but you kind of stay out of the operation aspects of your business. You have like 60 employees, give or take.
Yep.
And you guys have a multi-million-dollar operation. You've been doing this your whole life. You put your heart and soul into this. You genuinely care about your clients, your customers. You care about your employees. Like your heart and soul is into this for real. And then for the first time in a long time, you were out there power washing a patio. Bro, tell us what happened.
it was an experience. Just a big job, and we tried to get it in, and we were playing with the weather. The weather had changed on us in the middle of the project, and long story is we got in a little over our heads, and we needed some assistance. Our maintenance division, one of our lead guys had to go back to Mexico, so I know maintenance, so I stepped up into the power washing role to clean the construction site, clean the street. And when I get out there, it takes way longer because, I'm just cleaning random people's driveways and it's freezing. And it took us 2 days to clean it. And then we had to do all like the grouting and everything else. And it was the other guys had moved to another project. So I was just basically closing up the project and everything that could go wrong. I mean, I cannot believe I plugged the whole street. Like literally flooded the street because I didn't realize that the guy that I had at the bottom of the driveway wasn't scooping the stuff into the garbage bag. It was just going down the drain. So we eventually clogged the storm drain and had to have it sucked out.
So wait, this stuff that was already in the street was collecting from water, or stuff from you guys?
Well, the stuff from the job site, because when it rained, the job site had turned into a muddy like a mud pit. So every time we were taking a piece of machinery, we trashed the whole street. So I wanted to leave the street. Our whole goal is to leave the property better than we left it. So when I got into the power washing after I did all the pavers, I went to the street, started power washing the street, and it was unbelievable. I mean, it was like 3 inches thick of mud, and the water's freezing in front. It was cold. It was definitely not fun playing with water, but we got it done.
Dude, I saw like the days you text me some pictures and you put the finished project was beautiful. But I was like, they're out there working right now and you're messing with water? It's freezing out here.
Yeah, it was definitely cold. I was bundled, but you still get wet when you're playing with water, especially in 30 degrees. You feel it everywhere. I was just I can say that I have a ton of respect for what my guys do every single day. I was visibly sore, but I didn't want to show anybody that I was sore because I just go in like a lunatic. And it's funny, I even said to one of our main project managers, he's like, I saw you and I just left because I saw your eyes and you had a crazy look in your eyes because I had like an expectation of what I was going to get done. And as the day went on, I started to realize that I had overshot what I wanted to get done, and I started to get frustrated and angry at myself. And then we came back the next day, and then we had to come back the next day, and we worked all night. Friday night, I was literally just it was insane, but it was a great way to end the season, and it just to have more respect for the guys.
Wait, what type of emotions did you go through as the owner?
I mean, I love doing that stuff. It's just, the thing that I wanted to bring the sales guy out because.
Did it bring up a bunch of old stuff from the years of doing this business and stuff that you used to go through and rehash up old stuff that you had to work through? You know what I'm saying?
All the old things that had happened in my life. Yeah, it was like a flashback. But then when I was in the street for the first day, we were in the street cleaning, and then the second day, as we were almost done, all of a sudden I look and there's just water in the street. I'm like, what happened to the sewer? He's like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? So I had to go we had to let the homeowner know that, listen, we clogged your street. It's just, you deal with those things on site, but I think, you make mistakes, and I would rather go to the homeowner and say, hey, we screwed this up. I don't need them to find it. I screwed it up, and I have a solution, and usually it goes over pretty well. But it brought back a lot, and it just gives you another respect. Like, I'm very fortunate to do what I do in my business, and I work really hard, but to do the intense physical labor and to do it with a smile on your face every single day, I'm surrounded by amazing people. I really am.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, when you have a great team.
Yeah, got a great team.
You built a great team, bro.
I don't want to say I did. Honestly, I would say that everything just, when I reformed my business, the people that stayed with me really cared about me, and they really gave everything they give everything they have because they know I give everything I have.
For context, you're saying back in what, 20, 9, 10, 11?
Going back to 11 when I was getting crushed and I had to restructure my company. I had to clean house, and the people that stayed with me, it was like, cutting your company to 25% of what it once was, and now it's better than what it ever was because I needed my foundation was just, I was adding too many people too quick. I grew too quick.
Bro.
But getting back out in the field, it felt good. I mean, honestly, it did. It felt good. I felt like not that I was 19 because I did this, my whole life off and on. But I felt like some of the years where I was just like, it's only me. I'm the only one that knows what's going on because I was running the job with a sales rep that had never been on a construction site. So it was me and the sales rep on one of the biggest jobs we've ever done, and I was doing the maintenance to it. So it was cool.
That's so crazy. So you started your business. You were out there doing it. You're doing the sales, the marketing. You're out there running the jobs, ordering the materials, working with the guys, and in the office, staying up late, running paper, doing everything.
Yeah.
And then what was the first position that you replaced as you started to replace yourself?
So it was I got a secretary at 19. We didn't need one. So I would go out from midnight. It's funny, we're going back here. But yeah, I would go out at midnight, I would go pass flyers out. So from midnight to 4 a.m., I would pass flyers out. From 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., I would sleep. And then from 8 a.m., I would actually go do the work or sit by the phone and wait because we passed out all these flyers. I had 100,000 flyers made at Rabot Printing, which that was in Utica. And we would go out and pass these flyers out. And I would just wait by the phone and then beg for a job. And that went on for, I think the first year, I lost money the first year and second year and third year. But I would put positions in place that I knew I wasn't good at, even though I couldn't afford these people. And it forced me to charge more money because I wouldn't take care of myself, but I would take care of the people that I brought into the business. And you'd have to earn enough money to pay them so I could justify my charges because I had to pay these people, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I created expenses because I knew I needed these expenses and I knew I wasn't good at them.
So what about, like, you're growing the business, you're charging higher prices because you have to pay for these people and also obviously do great quality, stand behind your work and all that stuff. But what about the clients who now start saying no because they're comparing you to the other, maybe a Chuck and Truck or some smaller company that doesn't have the overhead that you do, or who just literally isn't charging enough to future-proof their business, or just as radically undercharging? How did you start dealing with the volatility and raising your value to keep your calendar full?
I mean, I'd be it's hard. People firing you that you thought were your great customers, and then you're like, the next time you do their job, you're up 20% more because you have
20%.
Right.
That's a lot.
Well, it is, but when you're not accounting for your time, like, what is your time worth? Well, I'm worth $20 an hour. What if you're worth 40? Well, what if you have to pay this person 20? And what if you have to pay this? So if they can't understand that, it's hard I had a hard time with it, but I knew that that's what I was kind of forcing my way to do these things. And the clients that fired me, I took a lot of them personal because I was a kid when they hired me. So at 19, I'm the success story that they talked about. Like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about you one day that you used to do my stuff, but when I ask for an appropriate wage to do that stuff, you're gonna kick me to the curb. So it hurts, but that's part of growing. I think you got to shed some of that old off to let some of that new growth come in, and let some of the people that will pay you more money because you're worth it.
I really like that saying. You got to keep them how you got them. Some of these customers that knew you, the old identity, you the first 3 years, first 5 years, whatever, they see you in through a certain lens, and then they don't know you're out there earning, growing your business, because you're showing them a professional face. You're not showing them everything you're going through. And as you really start to level up your whole identity and your worth, your knowledge base grows. You have to start raising your prices, and hey, you want to live a good life too. Like, you were charging them enough to make things work.
Just to pay my bills.
And then you come back to these customers and they're like, well, what do you mean it's literally double or something like that, as something that it was 4 or 5 years ago? And it does hurt, and you got to keep them how you got them. But the new customers, the shiny new customer, they don't know any of that old side of you. No. Your first 2-3 years or 5 years it just depends on the business when I'm talking about the different years, but they don't know any of that. They just see you now. They see your nice trucks, your nice branding, your advertisements. They hear how professional it is on the phone when you show up for the sales call, and they're just like, yeah, 15 grand, like, let's go. But the same exact presentation to an old customer, like, what do you mean 15 grand? Because of the lens they're looking at you through. It's like, you've upgraded. Like, how do you go through that again and again and again? You've gone through that so many times, and now you're at this place where I'm not saying anybody here don't be going on Steve's Google, but I've looked at all your reviews, tons of positive reviews, and the only things that I see are some people, like, if it is a negative, man, this guy's expensive.
We get that. We do get that we're expensive, but I do feel that if somebody's just looking at a number, and when I started at 19 and I'm throwing a number out compared to what I am now, you're getting not only a team, but you're getting the experience, you're getting all these different things, where when it was just me, it was just me. So it was just me and a few different people. I feel like, the big thing for some of these guys out here is you have to take that leap of faith, because how do you free up any of your space in your calendar to make more money if you're so busy running around making no money? Then you're not charging enough, or you're not being efficient enough, or a combination of both. And you're not in business as a nonprofit. I mean, maybe.
What type of math are you using to be able to say, all right, maybe we can split test, or we're going to raise the price specifically here? Because, like, you got to be paying attention to all that stuff with, like, the price of materials and labor and the economics of, like, and the distance and the type of stone and the type of project and where you're going to run into, and the travel space, and how all these different things that go into, like, the pricing. Because I believe if it's all actually justified, whether it just be like, hey, well, here's a justification. I, as the owner, or my employees have to make enough money so they feel comfortable, so they're not rushing and stressed out on a job and don't feel like they hate their jobs, which is going to show into the work. There's all these micro things, but another thing is like it could just be like, hey, I as the owner, I have to make a really good money because I want to give my money away to charities and help tons of people. So it's like whatever it is, like making more money just for the sake because I want to make more money. That's not really like a justifiable reason. But there's an entire ecosystem of pricing and worthiness and stuff. That's what I'm saying is this is stuff that sometimes the customers don't know how to articulate, but deep inside of your soul, you can actually, I bet you can articulate every single penny of understanding why you charge what you charge. And sometimes you can't like communicate all that to a customer. It's not even fair. It would be weird, but like, how do you just sit with that abundance and be? You get what I'm saying here, bro? You
gotta just speak slow, right? Listen to what they're saying, but you have to. You're never gonna communicate 100% what your worth is to somebody, or I mean, we'd all be rich and not, I mean, everybody would know what we're worth. I think we're all fighting for the same. And when, like, for instance, as a young man, I didn't know what I was worth at 19, 20, 21. I just knew that I wanted, somebody to tell me I did a good job. I mean, that's all I was really looking for is, somebody to pat me on the back. Attaboy, good job. You did a really nice job.
Looking for an attaboy.
Yeah, and that's really all it, for the first few years, it was just like, look what I can do. I can do all this great work. But I didn't really know how to monetize what we were doing at all. I didn't know how to make money. I mean, I knew how to do a great job and pay my bills, but that was essentially it. And every winter, I would go through, I've heard you talk about it on tons of your podcasts with winter depression. Well, I'd have severe winter depression because I would not have a purpose. There's no money coming in, and I couldn't plan because there wasn't enough money to go around. So you're in hibernation mode, or you're, I'll push snow, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then you're just essentially just running around doing things just to do them. And there's not really a purpose. So how are you ever going to make money doing those things if you're not thinking about, the long-term plan, not, just to pay this month's rent? And you have to like step back a little bit and also take some of those risks. Let some people fire you. I mean, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there's going to be a million more customers for you out there, I assure you, and you will be able to explain your worth. And most of the time, you're the one that's at fault at why these people are paying so little because you sold yourself short. And there should be some combativeness. There should be some frictional conversations because it's important. I mean, nobody wants to have those, but that's important.
So in my landscaping business, I got to this point where I'm standing up for myself professionally. Like, we do mostly property maintenance, like shrub trimming, ornamental tree trimming, pulling weeds, edging out garden beds, putting on mulch. So it's a $700 minimum to do anything. And I just found that.
Right? Stop the truck is $700 for you to do any job, $700.
Yeah. And now if like, I guess if a neighbor comes out and wants this little tiny thing done for $200, $300, $400, $500, and they're literally right there and it's easy, easy, lucrative, and fun. I learned that from Dan Sullivan.
I like it.
I mean, I would do that, but like, I just learned when I look at the books, it's hard to really make any profit below that. But when I'm talking like a customer and a neighbor lady comes out and she's like, hey, I want this done. Sorry, ma'am, we have a $700 minimum. It looks about literally $250 worth of work, and I just can't justify charging you $700 for something like that. And so the ladies will, well, come on, please, you're literally right here. I'm like, well, I'm booked out for 5 weeks. I can't do it now. Yeah. I can't come back. And then the customer, it becomes almost like a challenge to them. I said, well, let's see if there's some more stuff to do on your property. Like, hey, you need the bushes trimmed here. The gutters need to be cleaned. We do residential window cleaning. I'll do all the windows. I'll give you a deal. I'll do it for $200. You just hit $700. And the customer's like, and I'm like, well, I just can't. So I'm now walking away at this point, and I'm apologetic. I gave the lady my business card. I just said, call me if you need anything. I just can't. And then now the customers are like, well, wait. Actually, that's perfect. Do the thing I wanted, plus this, and clean my windows. That'll be $700. All right, let's talk. I get the calendar out, and now
you're moving. Yeah,
it's working, But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the little bit of this feeling stirs up inside of me that feels all the years where I articulated or pontificated that the customers were trying to take it. Some of them were actually taking advantage of me because they knew where I was at. They saw my rusty truck. They knew they were getting me super cheap. And they fired me and dropped me on my head as soon as I raised my prices. And so the feeling of like, oh, I'm not allowed to live anything better than a crummy one-bedroom apartment where the neighbors are stealing my shoes right off. Like, what? You're trying to tell me you can have a BMW and vacation home and jacuzzi out and the grand piano in your house, but I'm not allowed to have that because I raised my price $300 on some mulch? You're going to...
If you are looking for the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, and track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. If you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith, and after the trial, if you decide to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith.
Fucking fire me?
Yeah.
Like, what? I've been doing shit for you for 6 years, bending over backwards, and so all those feelings start to come up in that moment, and I'm pushing them down with a smile on my face, saying I'm hoping that I'm not being unprofessional or being an asshole. And it's not leaking through. It's not this customer's fault, but it took me all of that shit to get to the point where I finally fucking drew the line in the sand and said, no, I'm not going home and sitting at the dinner table across from my wife, saying that, oh, I didn't crush it today.
I failed today, right?
I failed today because I couldn't stand up, and now we can't go on that vacation, or we can't plan for our first child, or we can't ever get out of this. It's like, so how do you communicate to your whole team professionally as you're growing an organization and push down the fear? Like, this is the direction when I'm looking at, because I'm trying to get you stirred up, bro.
So it's funny you say that. It's like it's funny in many ways, but like for me, I just look at all the people that I have. I know what goes into this. This is, I mean, sometimes I'm referred to as the mad scientist of my business, and I say absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about because I don't. But I know what it takes to do these projects and to do them right. So, that's part of it too, is think about this. They're talking to you, trying to get you to do that $700 job. Now, I remember these because I would be like, yes, they're right next door. This is going to make the most sense. We'll do it right now. Well, then you're taking away from the other people. You're messing your schedule up. And you're really talking with this customer for an hour. We won't even do a quote. Like, if the neighbor comes over and asks me for a quote, sorry, I don't have you in my system. Like, can't you add it? No, I can't. But the office can if you'd like. I mean, I can be out here in 2 weeks, but I truly don't have the time. And it's not fair to the people that have waited for me to come to their house that you're going to just squeeze in line and, buck the system. I don't have any of your information. I don't have your email. I don't have anything. So I don't have time to do data entry while I'm out here to create some to create a proposal for you.
Because you're already allotted a time on a client's property who's already paid $40,000 and they went through the whole process, and this is so for you to jump off and leave over, like, to go run around.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense. And even for a $2,000 job, you have to be, the sales guy's got to be prepared. And sometimes we can do it. It's the end of the year, but in the beginning of the year, there's no way we can do it. We're 3 to 4 weeks just to get an appointment with one of our reps. So, a lot of times I'm doing 10, 11, 12. At one point in my career, I was doing 20 appointments a day, which is ineffective at all. I mean, you're not giving anybody anything. You're just literally writing numbers. And that's when I realized I need sales reps. I need people that can represent the company because I can't do all these leads. And I think that's another next part of the growth of some of these young entrepreneurs is when you hire a sales rep, that's when you really are going to have some problems, because sales reps can bring you big revenue, but they can bring you big problems if they're not trained properly.
What if they're not trained properly and they're promising Mrs. Jones, oh, yeah, we can do that because they want to get the job,
Yep.
and maybe they overlook things and something that could have been a $3,600 thing to remediate that little drain area, and they just look right over it.
Yep, they look right over it. Or we had one last year that we had to carry almost 30 yards of buckets of concrete, 5-gallon buckets, because the rep didn't pay attention to how to get down there. So it's like, how are we supposed to get back here if you can't figure out, and you have to have those candid conversations with people, but then
Wait, you had to carry how many buckets?
30 yards.
30
yards and buckets. I'm talking, we had like
of 5-gallon buckets?
Yeah, of concrete and dirt.
Of cement?
Yeah, concrete and dirt. Couldn't get, because
for a patio base?
It was we tore out a patio, and by the time I had recognized it, we would have still had to do it anyways, but it was down a hill in the water, and the houses are jammed next to each other, so there's no accessibility at all. So the only way we could demo was get some equipment down, some breakers, and we had to break it and then carry them up in 5-gallon buckets. So we had to carry all the base, the waste, the broken concrete and dirt, and had to bring all the base and all the pavers down by hand. We got
Did
killed.
your sales guy feel like, oh my God, I'll never make that mistake ever again, bro?
And I stayed with the guys. Because I was like, I wouldn't want to do this. I would quit. If somebody said you do this, so I stayed with them and worked with them that day, just because I wanted to show solidarity with the guys. Like, this job is, excuse my language, but it's bull. I can't ask you guys to do this. I wouldn't want to do it. So the only thing I can do is help you. And I'm thankful that the guys still did it with a smile. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We work together as a team. But I would definitely say, with certainty, it's the culture, and it's the way you lead, and it's what you're doing with your people and for your people. And I specifically stay away from the clients now, because I got personally attached. Like 6 years, I've done this and this and this for you. You're part of their family, and they're going to kick you out for $200, and they trust you. Well, for my people, if I invest that type of time into my people, that's who really I'm working with every single day, and those are the people that are going to make my clients happy. So I just focus on them and not the customer any longer. Not that the customer's not important; they're very important, but my focus is just on my people.
Leadership and building people,
and backing them up, letting them make mistakes.
So, because one issue in my landscaping business is, I love taking on the jobs from 10 to 20 grand. We had a sweet spot at 7,500, and then maybe 13 to 15 grand we can get in for. You guys could probably just blow that shit out in a day, but me, it'd be a few days.
Sure.
But I could make a pretty good profit and be in and out. But the jobs from 10 to 20,000 bucks, especially 15 to 20, require me to be there all over it, because there's all these little tiny things you run into that only I know, that my guys don't know.
Right.
That I got to lay it all out and catch things when they start going in the wrong direction, and just to make sure everything goes smooth, because I've left jobs before and come back and be like, no.
Yeah. You guys do so much. Like, that's why I love what I do, and I got so specific is with brick, what are we going to hit? We're going to hit electrical lines, probably. We call mistig, and we do the things we're supposed to do, but we're going to hit electrical lines. We're for sure hitting sprinkler lines. We know, so we almost have an idea of what we're going to break when we come into this place. Water mitigation, where are we going to run the water? So we have a system now where,
dude, real quick, I know this. I'm interviewing you, and I've gotten good at letting my guests do 90% of the talk, but I have to tell this.
I love it.
I took on a grading job I don't really do a lot of subcontract work, but this one was fine. It was a builder. They built an addition onto a house on the back, like a whole sunroom. And so now it was just all messed up back there. They needed us to come bring in topsoil, regrade everything, comb it over, we'll put like rough, and then we'll put the last 2 to 4 inches of like nice black screen topsoil. We put heavy seed, we put peat moss, and then we put hay on it. It's just the way we do it. So it just,
sure.
And but there was some stuff where stuff was dug up and we had to fix it and re-put sprinkler lines back. It's just normal landscaping stuff, and we had a dingo out there. And so there was this hole we had to fill back in that, right in the middle of the job, the builder said the guys have to come and just do one more thing. They have to, some drainage or some pump thing. I don't know what it was, but you're just going to have to fill in an extra hole. They'll be there Thursday. I'm like, no big deal. So I come in, and they dug this deep hole. It wasn't that deep. It wasn't even that big. It wasn't even a big deal. But there was all these lines going through it. There was sprinkler lines, like wow cable lines that look like electrical. I just saw it looked like 7 different lines, bro. And when so this is something I'm admitting right now, that I never got into hardscape or big planting shit. I have a phobia of digging underground. So as soon as I saw it, bro, I literally saw it. I went tunnel vision. Like, everything went black. My heart rate elevated. My blood pressure went up. And I got so fucking scared. I looked at my guys. I said, hey, I know you guys know exactly what to do. I got to go sit in the truck while you do this. So I just literally went, and I sat in the truck, and I sank in the seat, and I was just breathing for like 45 minutes while they did it, because I couldn't do it.
Were you having a panic attack, or kind of, or?
Yeah, this doesn't happen every day.
No. Was that what was happening?
I was this close. If I didn't go sit in the truck, I would have went into a panic attack where I would have been laying in a customer's backyard. And so I already know my guys know what to do, but I was like, I had to just
let them do it.
And I had to get the hell out of there, and they did it. Nothing happened. It was fine, because my one guy who works for me, it's nothing to him. He knows what to do. Dig by hand, very careful, pack it in, and when I came back, they had everything packed in. They were going over it with the machine. They were grading it. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Done. Yeah. I the phobia, that phobia runs away quick after you break a few things. We broke a main gas line in West Bloomfield.
A main gas line.
I didn't even. It was unbelievable. The homeowner, she was a gem. She was beautiful. Just the nicest. She was like a mother figure. She's like, Steven, oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? The whole neighborhood's gonna blow up. And I was like, no, it's not. I can barely smell it. I mean, literally, it smelled terrible. Like, everybody was told to stay in their houses, and then the fire department had to come. And unfortunately, it happens more than you think. We hit gas lines all the time.
How do they shut? How does it not cause a spark and an explosion? Like,
it could. And the thing that really
that's my biggest fear.
It's mind-boggling, because they'll say, you hit a line. Oh, well, the subcontractor put it in wrong. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're the one that's responsible for the. How could you leave this line 18 inches or 12 inches? I mean, this is supposed to be 3 feet deep. We shouldn't be hitting these types of lines. We're digging 12 inches sometimes 24, but we know where things are. A lot of times
it's supposed to be 36 inches,
in
straight down and all the way out to the street.
And it's not. Most of the time we expose wires. We know where they're going to be.
What? So that's exactly why I have the phobia. It's because I go on online, and everybody listening and watching this should literally go watch videos of electrical safety videos, like electrical hazard videos. Like, if there's a power line, they'll have it come all the way down, and they'll have it touch like a wagon, and the wagon touches this, and then the guy touches it with a turkey, and the whole turkey's well done in 20 seconds. And it's 25 feet away from the power line, but it was conductivity. Yeah. So if you're digging and you hit a line and it's not insulated, the guy's not wearing insulated gloves and boots, bless his soul.
Yeah, and that's where you get really upset, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous, but I mean, what do? You hand dig. If you're hand digging something, there's nothing else you can really do. You just try to be as careful as you possibly can, and do your due diligence, but it's a dangerous job. That's part of it. I mean, these guys, we had more work comp claims this year than we've ever had. Just people getting hurt. Just you were working with equipment, so equipment can malfunction. We can do something different with the equipment. No, what we do is dangerous. As soon as you dig into the ground, you're in a different level, in my opinion.
All right, so you've become comfortable with this? How many crews do you have at max?
Max next year will be 10. This year was 9. Yeah, so we are.
So you got this going on times 10.
Times 10.
How often, like, what I mean is, like, man, I feel vulnerable, but this is so valuable. You can. I mean, I'll talk to you in the middle of July. What's going on, Keith? I can't believe it. I'm out doing quotes. I got all these sales guys, and you know what? Screw it. I'm doing quotes today.
I'm doing quotes today. Yeah, I mean, well, you got to help, too. I mean, I'm watching. You got to look at it. I look at the board, too, and it's like, all right, if you got to wait 3 weeks to get us out to give you a quote and then another 8-9 weeks to get the job done, what can I do? I can fill in. So I'm going to be in this area, and then I'll just do a bunch of quotes, but I'm not actually going through our process. I'm basically trying to get some of the, I would call them not a loss leader, but like your cleaning and sealing could be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 jobs.
Get paver maintenance and repair.
Correct. So the restoration, I try to get those out quick. That way, and those are great jobs as well, even though they're tough. It's like doing repairs is like you have to know how to put puzzles together. It's really all it is, because you got to take every cut, mark every cut, set them to the side so you don't lose that brick, so that way when you put it back together on the right pitch that it all fits properly. So there's a lot to that part of it, but I just feel like you just kind of you figure it out as you go, and you just I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but there's just different things that we're doing, and I'll quote those right there, because there's no reason. If I can get 10, 15 of those off the board, then the guys can get to their appointments quicker than 3 weeks, which that's where we don't want to be. Like 10 days is about where we would like to see our estimates at.
Oh my God. So I just I just went higher level with my thoughts all of a sudden. So I've been to your shop, and we should do a video and a tour of it and show everybody. You have sales guys going out, and do you have like when a customer wants something that's custom, do you say, well, we have 7 different styles of patios and like 7 different styles of block, and pick from these, and then you can customize it? Because what I mean is, or is it completely custom every design?
Completely custom every design. Now we've thought of getting templated like that, but the problem is not everything works that way, right? Like you got different elevation changes. Everybody has different elevations. So for us, we're going to go out and we're going to take your points of elevation. So on a new installation, we're not going to go out and quote the job. We're going to go out and take all the information that we need. Do you like round? Do you like geometric? Do you like square, traditional? What's your style? What kind of size are we looking at here? Really get a feel for the space that they're looking at. And then it's really about taking elevations, because we build with blocks. So we're going to build with actual retaining wall block. Like, let's say you got a slope, and I set my 0 point at the ledge of the house. Well, I'm going to know all the points of where the grade changes, because it's going to show me with my level. All right, well, this is going to grade off. We're 12 inches low here, so I'm going to need 2 additional courses of block down here where it'll only fade into 1. That way you can get your material list right, and we can give people accurate pricing, because doing that on site doesn't make sense. We get the information, and then we double set an appointment. So we invite you back into our showroom. Then we pick all the material that you would like for your house, and then we already have an understanding of the footprint, and we have a drawn design of what you were thinking. And then if we need to make any changes, we can do that as well, because we do not only shop plan drawings, but we also do them on computer. We're starting to do a lot more animated drawings.
I saw your guy on the computer. He was an awesome, cool guy, designer. He had screens, and he showed me a couple of designs of the guy's patios you've installed, the outdoor living spaces. Dwayne, and bro, he primo. It looks so cool. Yeah. So the sales guy, like, everybody must kind of understand or have to understand the process to some point to be able to communicate it. Because my first question was the wrong question. It was like, how do you communicate all this to all these people?
Your processes are what Eric said earlier the last one we did. The processes are important, because that's how you get people to be able to be productive, feel good about what they've done, right? Not the worst thing to do is feel like you didn't get what you wanted to get accomplished that day, because if you don't, then the next day there's still a whole nother there's a whole bunch of things you got to do the following day. So to me, I look at it like you just got to make people as successful as possible by giving them the tools, the logistics, and all the information that you can possibly give them. And that's how I feel like you can run it efficiently as well. Is I can't do the neighbor's quote. I'm not. I have a set calendar. So my calendar, the sales rep's calendar, for them to stop, call the office, or have them try to do a templated.
Looking to maximize your production in the field? Ballard Products has over 300 products that can help you get the most out of your efforts every day. Ballard Products. Whether you are looking to get a better cut, keep your gear on your machine, keep your expensive equipment clean and safe, or just get the most out of your machines, Ballard has you covered. Ballard Products. Jump onto our easy-to-use updated website at ballard-inc.com to get your gear ordered today. Keep grinding. Stay safe. And have a great season. Ballard. Make sure to use the code Keith10 to save 10% on our full line of gear. That's Keith10.
It just doesn't work that way, for us at least. We won't even, we're not going to look at it.
So also regarding the installation, I'm thinking that each crew that you have has a crew leader. That's somebody that came up from within, and they're a total expert.
Yeah, they're super specialized.
Yeah. So when they're on that job, almost like a clone of you, or even better than you, at the point where they're anticipating shit in advance.
They already know most of these guys know what's going to happen before it happens. So, like our maintenance guys, they don't do repairs.
Yeah.
And they don't do installations. But then my repair and installation guys, they don't do maintenance. Maintenance is tedious. So maintenance is when you're doing cleaning, sanding, and sealing. A lot of people think it's just, you power wash your brick pavers, you put some sand in, you seal it, and it's good. But if you don't power wash it right, you won't know until you seal it. When you seal it, you'll see all the lines that you missed and all the things that you've done incorrectly. And once you put that sealer on, there's no turning back. So you have to have guys that do, in my position and the way I feel to run a successful business, is these guys have to do something that's extremely similar so they know what to do and troubleshoot, so they're effective and they're also quick on their feet. I don't want them having to go to Home Depot. I want them to have every single tool that they have as well. So we break a sprinkler line, we already have that in the truck. We have all the things that we know we're going to break, so we can kind of forecast. And back to what you had said earlier, when we go into a project, we have an expected profit after we do our material list of what we're expecting to profit. And then there's the real profit, which is the overages, the things that we miscalculated. Sometimes we miscalculate. Most of the time we miscalculate and it's in the client's favor, but we don't go back to the client and say, I only charge you for 80, yards of base, but I got, 150 out here. We eat that. So that's something that we want to make sure we give you an accurate representation, because I don't want to come back and ask you for more money because we miscalculated. If you want to make it bigger, that's something different. So we want to make sure it's accurate.
Dude, I'm listening to EOS Life right now by Gino Wickman, and he keeps talking about having the right people on the bus. I'm like, wait a second. In my media business, I'm super happy because I have assistants that help me run my media business. They love doing what they do. I don't have to manage them at all. I don't have to pick apart what they do. Maybe once in a while there's a little course correction of stuff, but it's like they love doing what they're doing, and they're happy, and they love working for me, and it just works, right? But in the landscaping side of things, it's been frustrating, because if you're hiring new people and you haven't trained them versus somebody who's been with you for years, they know exactly how you do stuff, whether you're there or not. They understand to do it right the first time, or to fix it if something's going off course, because that's just not how we do things. We make sure things are precise. Like,
we want to make it pristine, and then we fall short.
So how do you articulate that to so many people?
Well, I think it's when you're like in the process of quoting, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so for us, it's price, amount, close, but we go through a system of showing. And
just for context, because when I go on your Instagram, bro, and I look at the work you guys do, I'm talking, you can't see a grain of sand. It looks like virtual reality. It looks like you're lying, bro. That's all computer generated.
I feel like you're being very nice.
Your fucking patios look computer generated, bro.
They definitely, we always strive to get better, and
that was a great answer.
we do. That's the key. Is there manufacturers, even knowing the manufacturers and where they're deficient on some of the products that they produce. So we'll see something that we'll go, all right, we know that this one is not, we're going to have to order extra pallets because we know that this certain brick, every 7 brick, we got to throw it away because it made it through the system. So it's just those little things. Once a patio is installed, it's much more difficult to fix it while it's swept in and it's locked up than looking at the material. So I think it's really being mindful, having your lead guy looking at not just the project, but setting the grades, looking at the overall job, inspecting the pallets, making sure that those pallets are good enough to be put in and what materials shouldn't be put in. But all my guys they're promoted from inside. I know it takes a little bit, but any of you out here that are actually doing the work and you have guys that are working for you, grab that key guy, train him. Train him to know everything you know. Be vulnerable, show him everything. Show him every side of what you know. Incentivize that person and let them run with it. And then eventually that guy's going to get so great that you can take somebody from his crew. And then you got 2 crews. Now you have 2 crews that are operating extremely similar and the way you want them to run. But if you promote them from the inside and you have a guy that you really like the way he does it, then he's the guy that should be teaching everybody else how to do it. So you get a consistent product throughout everything. When you're out on the job site doing the job and expecting to bring in people from the outside to know what you expect from them, that's just, I mean, that's crazy. It doesn't work that way. You got to work with them to show them what you want. And then once you find that really key, I mean, I'm talking the guy that you're just like, wow, he's so great with the customers, and it's got to be a certain way. You put those guys, we have a couple of our guys, Alejandro, Luis, that literally they train our new guys coming up. And all of my guys they didn't start as foremen. They started underneath someone.
Yeah. So in your business, nobody can just fill out a job application and become a foreman.
No, you can't become a foreman. You can. We had the opportunity to have a really good guy come in this year, and he said he was a foreman. We paid him as a foreman, but he's working with our lead, and he's doing a great job. He may, get that opportunity a little.
But you made that
earlier.
mistake in the past by giving someone too much rope too quick. Just based off their confidence in their word.
Yeah, you do, and especially, I know everybody feels it because we're out here. It's hot, it's cold, it's raining, it's snowing, it's a droughting, and you're trying to get work done, right? So you're trying to get work done, and you just think that there's this savior that's going to help you get it done, and it a lot of times it's not. It's all like these what are they? In the desert, when you think you see something, a mirage. It's like a mirage, and it really truly is a mirage, because a lot of times those guys will come in, and if they're not doing things right, then you're just going back and fixing all those things, and it costs way more money to go fix it than it is to just do it right the first time.
Ain't that the truth, bro? Ain't that the truth? The look on your face.
I've made the mistakes. I've made many of them, and when I say, if you're out there working right now with a few guys and you got a key guy, you want to keep that key guy, incentivize that guy, take care of that guy or girl, whatever it might be. That's my advice, is you want to get those people invested in the business so you can slowly retract out of your business and be able to put more pieces of that puzzle together so you can build what your vision is, and actually, people that can actually fulfill that vision and help you build it.
Wow. Real quick, I got a quick announcement. Guys, over the past 6 months, we've done a total rebrand of my website, this camera here, of my website at keithkelfis.com. and we're just upgrading everything, and we're coming out with we're doing workshops. We'll be walking you guys through Zoom calls if you're trying to get your landscape business off the ground or level it up to the next level. So I'm just super happy, and I've been working with some people behind the scenes on my end to make this happen. So if you need help in your landscaping business, go to keithkelfis.com and browse around. And I just really, really, really care. I love this community. I love the opportunity to have this podcast on top of my landscaping business. I'm so thankful that Steve is here. And to go to keithkelfis.com. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, bro. So I'm fascinated about, like, there's a saying, people don't care about your success until they won't believe or care about you until they know that they can relate to your struggle. They know that you've been through. So would you say that the successes that you have created are off the backs of struggles, or have you had any like big epiphanies where you've had successes that didn't require any struggle at all? Like you've learned from watching other people's lessons from other people, you know what I'm saying?
Both. I think both.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of it is like if you can envision you have a big garage. We're in this garage and it's just shoved full of stuff.
Mhm.
Can you just focus on, for me, I struggled my whole life to be able to just focus on one thing and do that one thing because I see all these things and I got to take care of all these things and then nothing ever gets done because I'm just tripping on everything. And I just focus on the one thing and the big problems that need that attention, and so many of the other problems that are problems, they aren't problems, they just go away. Like, it's unbelievable how many problems go away when you just solve the big ones that are just right there in front of you. There's going to be ones that are there that are nagging problems that go away, come back, go away, come back. But you fix some of the real core struggles and issues. Some of the other problems that you have they weren't really problems. They're just residuals.
Now, without getting like personal, can you go into a little more detail, like give an example?
So, like for me, I know that I'm not a good operator. I'm not. I'm not somebody that does well on a job site, and because I'm thinking about other things. So for me, it was just like I pulled myself out of that position, and I realized that I was a better owner and a leader, and everybody would see me struggle, and I just thought that was just normal, but it's not. It's so, like, for instance, I got out of the way. I was in the way. I was constantly in the way of every single thing that we did. And the more I was removed from some of those tasks, the better the company did. And it was just like unbelievable that I was sabotaging my own company.
Wow, you were the bottleneck.
I was the
business.
I was the bottleneck of my own business, literally, because I wanted to have control. But what am I?
Were you a control freak?
Yeah, for sure. Huge. I mean, I couldn't get off the job site because it wouldn't be done exactly the way I want. I mean, that's insane. It's not going to be done exactly the way you would do it because you're not doing it. But what's acceptable, what's not, what's great, what's not. We want to be great. And most of the time, the guys did a better job than I did. Like, and that's kind of it blows you back and go, well, I gave it everything I had. And I mean, my guys would blow me apart. I mean, if I built a patio and they built a patio, you guys would laugh at the one I built now. I'm serious.
Oh my God. Dude, I'm having these epiphanies in my media business. We'll be working on a project, but it's my business. I come up with these crazy ideas. I won't let people know about them right away, but off on the side, I'll come up with this vision. Like right now we're planning, we're filming a 3-part video series documentary. So we're going to do a short film movie. No, more like reality show. Screw it, I'll just tell, because we might not do it. But I'm taking my old 06 truck. I'm going to go out with, I have $100 at the beginning of the show, and I'm going out in the freezing cold. I got to go to Home Depot, buy a squeegee, soap, a bucket, and a scrubber. And I have $100 for food and gas, and I got to go out and build a window cleaning route from storefronts, plazas. Like, there's no way to make money. There's no landscaping, no nothing. I can't get a job, and I have to go out there, cell phone stores, sub shops, salons, gas stations, anywhere, and I got to go hustle and build and make money. And so we're planning like, where am I gonna sleep, like in an RV or a trailer? Like, what we're gonna go all out. My video guy's willing to stay up all night and get shots of me like sleeping. And,
when
like,
are you doing
cold
this?
and,
I didn't know you were doing this.
oh, I've scripted 3 different movies. The other ones I won't even be in. Just in the past 2 weeks, I'm obsessed with this shit.
That's
So
awesome.
But I'm gonna go out now. That would be a hit to watch somebody who's already kind of like established, and I'm in my warm, comfy house to go out and reap and prove to these people that, dude, I really did this shit and you can do it too. And so we're thinking about getting some sponsors to fund it and pay for it. But man, where was I going with this? It was directly correlated to what? Oh yeah, the idea. So I'm not telling my team about this crazy idea. I'll get it all fleshed out, and we'll go try it out a little, and then I'll, and then I'll be like, hey, guess what we're doing? Yeah. And then people are like, what do you mean? That's just, but they don't even say that, because when I'm excited and it's already going and I'm already filming the content,
yeah,
they're already
in
cool. It's the next thing hot off the press. Let's go. But if you like disturb people with your crazy ideas when they're already working on something else, like, that's not my job to. Why are you smiling?
Because that look I see multiple times a day.
What do you mean?
The look of, what are you talking about? Because I do these things every single day.
You just bought a fire truck.
I just bought a fire truck.
Send me a picture. You bought a fire truck. You bought a fire truck. Why did you buy a fire truck?
I honestly, I don't know yet.
He doesn't even know.
I don't know why I bought a fire truck, but I could tell you that it's going to be big. I think it's going to be. I mean, think about this. I'm going to go home and say to my wife, I'm buying a fire truck. My buddy goes, "What are you going to say to your wife?" I go, "I'm not going to tell her." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "How can I explain this? There's no logical thing for me to say. It's going to be me going home." And I told her, you know what? Once I have it, then I can explain it. But I can't explain it till I have it. And once I have it, then you'll understand what I'm going to do with it. It's going to be great. And she just goes, like, you're probably going to get arrested. And she's not wrong, because I may do, I might drive. I'm not supposed to drive it around, but I definitely want to drive it around, So I'm going to use it for marketing, I think, and there's going to be a couple things I do, but yeah, there's, that's some of the nonsense that I get to do. That's what you just said. I can't. Dina just was like, "What are we doing?" I was like, "We're getting a fire truck," because obviously we got to put insurance and all this stuff, and she's just like, "Geez," and she just looks at me like, "This is nonsense. What are we doing?" And it's like, "Just trust me. It's going to be great." And trust me.
Just trust me.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. It's not always great. A lot of times, these people work so hard, and I have these ideas, and sometimes they're terrible. They really are. They're just terrible. But other times they're not. And for this purchase, it wasn't that much money, so they didn't knock it down. But I truly don't even know where we're going to put this thing. So I got to figure that out. And it's on its way. It's actually not coming here, but it's actually coming to our new shop. So
dude, I can see you pulling up in a fire truck, dude.
I have no business owning or having a fire truck.
There's a video you got to look up. Look at all of the items in a fire truck. You ever seen this?
The fire truck that we have,
dude, it's like thousands. They'll have a fire truck, and there's all the medical supplies and kits and hoses and all this stuff, and how perfectly methodically organized, and how trained the firemen know to where everything is at all times, and everything's up to date, and like it's crazy.
The log on this thing, because it's an older truck, is like this. It only has 9,000 miles on it, but I think they have $300,000 in maintenance on this thing.
Wow. I mean, because in the event of a fire, that thing's got to get to on location in like under 6 minutes and save people's lives.
Yeah, and and then it's got to have it has that, the crane thing that comes out and the pegs that stick into the ground, so that way the ladder.
The outriggers?
It's got outriggers. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Bro.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited. I know my wife is not, and many of the people in my life are not, but I have a feeling that you're going to be doing something with this fire truck. We're gonna make something of this fire truck.
I just had a memory. You know that music video I sent you of Eric Reno?
Yes.
We were filming downtown
In Mount Clemens, wasn't
yeah,
it?
and he's like, there was a fire truck. He goes, let me go jump in front of that fire truck real quick in the video. I'm like, okay. So I filmed him, and it was cool. And was like,
I watched that video. Yeah, I couldn't believe that you were producing at that level that long ago. I mean, literally, I mean, with technology, this is insane. It
2009
really
or 10. Bro, we were shooting music videos in 2005.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. That's almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, dog.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I've been doing brick pavers my whole life, and we're gonna have a big announcement ourselves here at the beginning of the year of a new venture that we're gonna be doing. It's exciting.
Yes.
We're gonna be into the ground a little bit more.
Man, I can't wait to go. You guys got to see this guy's showroom. You have like how many square feet is the warehouses?
They're two 10,000 square foot warehouses. One we converted into a indoor showroom with a house. It's got water features, patios, a bunch of different things that you can do in there. But mostly just for design ideas, and then the meat and potatoes.
That was another one of your ideas. They were like, "What? You're gonna turn?" Talk about that.
That was nuts. So after 2011, part of my demise was my location. I was too far out of my service zone. So I was my biggest issue was that I was having all my guys travel in one direction. So I was too far out.
Listen, if you need help training employees, we have figured out a simple 4-step system that can get a brand new employee up and running in sometimes as little as an hour. Like, I couldn't leave the job site before because I wasn't confident that the employees wouldn't mess something up. Now, with a simple 4-step system, it's become really, really easy. And we've created a free PDF download documenting the 4 steps and outlining exactly what to do. This is actually really simple, and I hope you go and download it. It's yours. It's totally free. Go to keithkelfis.com/4steps, the number 4 and steps, and download this and put this into your business. All right, back to the show.
I pay my guys for drive time. So I was spending I was bigger than what I am now, and I was spending so much money getting them from 31 and Romeo Plank to where they needed to go that was part of it. What my accountant said is, you need to relocate your business. So I remember taking Dina to this facility, and it looks like my facility on the left. It's just this.
For context, you said Dina. Who's that?
Dina's my partner in crime. She's the one that runs the business. She's the facilitator. She essentially does everything. She does the books. She does everything. Dina's just a brilliant, unbelievable human being. She's got patience for someone like me. You got to have patience for someone like me. She's just we got to
like
have her
office manager on steroids.
She's more than that. She's not afraid to tell me no more than I need to be told no a lot, but she's definitely somebody that I would say is running the business.
Okay, super important. Now back to what you're saying.
So I brought her to this facility, and she's like, "What am I looking at?" Because we had 5 acres. I was like, "Well, I want to build a house inside of this place, and I want to do, I said, I want to bring the outside inside. So when people come to our showroom, they don't have to get dirty. They don't have to go take a shower because they walk through a dusty yard or what have you and go see these aged pavers that don't look right. I want them to see what they're buying new. So, control.
You want them to see what they're buying.
Yeah, I want them to know what they're buying, not just pick
Wow.
two, 3 pavers. I want them to know and love what they're buying and that's, I think, a really intimate thing is like it's so hard to pick 3 pavers or a little swatch. So we give you big examples. So when I showed her this, she was like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I want to bring the outside inside." And she's like, "What do you think it's going to cost?" And I gave her some number that made no sense. But she liked the idea, and she shook her head, and she's like, "Okay, let's make a go of it." I didn't realize that, at that point I was kind of digging myself into a situation where it was like I had to sink or swim, and we were only in the one facility, and it was 1/3 of the showroom was done, and then the rest of it was our work facility. And we were jammed into this place. And then eventually we took the other building over right next door to it and blew out the rest of it and continued the showroom, because after we got a third of the way done, I went through the budget of what I thought we were going to go through, and I didn't even build a house yet. So I wasn't even close to being done. So this took forever. I mean, it literally, we've blown the showroom up and redone it at least 5 times. And
what?
Yeah.
So yeah, Eric told me, he's like, bro, you got to see this. It's crazy. Steve's a genius. He built a showroom inside of his, like Eric, the roofer. You go inside, it is really nice. He has roofing samples, skylight samples. He has like things so the customers can see it and stuff. And it's really, really nice. Your showroom is like one whole quarter. It's like the inside of a fake house with a patio and steps and like plants and lights and a door. Like, what was the thing of like, what do you mean you're going to build a house? This is with a door. I'm
going to build a house inside of a warehouse. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, why would you do that? But that was my vision, was to, and two, a lot of it was, customers picking colors, and then you're done with the job, and that's not what, we don't like that. Well, that's not good for me, and that's not good for them, because right, I mean, they're not happy because they don't get the right color that they wanted, and I'm not happy because either A, I'm going to change it out and lose money, or B, leave them unhappy. 99% of the time I'm going to change it out, and then I got to throw away all this brick because now it's used, and nobody wants to buy used brick. So I thought it was something that was going to help us, and it didn't at first. At first it wasn't functioning the way it should for the first 6 years. Really, COVID is what helped me really define the showroom, because what was happening is we had all these state-of-the-art patios with all this new product. So customers were coming in, but they weren't our customers. We had it open to the public, so people could just come in. Well, contractors would just send them to our showroom and pick out their brick, and they'd have no intention in even sitting with us. So when COVID happened, to protect everybody, that's what we thought, okay, we're going to do the right thing and make this limited to just an appointment, right? So it's going to be by appointment only. And we felt that we could give people a better communication, more one-on-one time, and that allowed us to be more successful with the showroom. So we stuck with that. It's by appointment only, and it makes it so that it's a more intimate setting. It's more private, and it just feels better. It's just a better.
Dude, that's so cool. I picture like a husband and a wife, but they both they stopped at Tim Hortons, got some coffees, and they're like, oh, I really like this. And you're just calmly in a controlled environment walking, and they're picking out what they want.
Yeah, you're picking out what they want, and if they have children, we have activities for the children. They can play foosball, they can play ping pong. We have coloring stations and things like that for the children. But it's nice because they can go out and...
Like, what other landscaper has that, bro?
Well,
it's insane.
We had Cintas out today, and the new manager came in, and he's like, I can't believe this place. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, this is amazing. I want a patio from you guys. I was like, absolutely. We can definitely. We love doing business with those people that do business with us.
Dude, I just had a crazy idea, and it would be really easy to do. Install spotlights up on the beams on the ceiling, specifically so you can shut off all the main lights in the warehouse, and then have what it will look like at night with the lights coming up on all the bricks, and then the spotlight could be like, not like the moon or anything, but it could be like, but just so they could see what it would look like at night, because people are really inspired. They drove past their neighbor, and they like see like their neighbor has some beautiful hardscaping, like outdoors, and then they love the way it looks at night. That's the thing that inspires them. And it's like that would cost like, I don't know, $1,000, and it could give this whole. We
have the back like that, but I'm happy you said that, because I'd like, if you have a moment, in the next couple weeks, I also wanted to do a sound system in there, like this company's supposed to do. I'm not going to say because he hasn't done it yet, but he's supposed to put this sound system in where it sounds the same everywhere. I've never heard of it, but I've actually experienced it. I've never at a client's house. This client hooked me up with this guy that puts in these like ridiculous sound systems where it sounds the same from every point outside, but the neighbors can't hear it. but it sounds super loud, and I don't know what it's called. But long story short is this: once I get that system in, we wanted to have like crickets and stuff like that, like make it more
Crickets.
Yeah, more like just an outdoor wind and stuff like that. We weren't looking for the actual music. We were looking for it to make it feel more outdoor, like a more outdoor setting, but still have the comforts of being inside in 70 degrees.
Oh my God, like sound design.
Yes.
Outside, it's a set with sound design.
That's what we were. I don't know if it's possible. You would know.
Of course, it's possible.
Yeah, that's what that's kind of the next vision, is taking away from those heaters that, the heaters come on, they make it's not that they're that loud, but you're in a 10,000 square foot warehouse of steel, things move. But if we had something to kind of dumb that sound down a little bit, that's what I'm looking for. And like I said, they were supposed to put this in. I'm not pressing him because he wants to align with us, and we don't want to be in that part of the business anyway. So he wants to put a demo system in and then help him sell these systems to our clients after we put a hardscape in.
Dude, that is so cool. And because you're not out in the field and you're the visionary of your business, you can have these higher level thoughts and concepts and precepts and ideas and visions and work with other people. And so you're here upstream doing cool stuff that when it trickles down, it's work, money, profit. It's revolutionary at times. It is something that, like, it's called emergent properties, when you take things to a level 10 and you put them all together, or it could be something bad, but
yeah,
good. You get this totally different dramatic result that you wouldn't normally get.
It's like the snowball, like all these little things and all these problems that get solved, and then eventually you just keep making the right move. You continue to stay disciplined in your spending. You're disciplined on what you spend your money on, whether you're investing in. I invest in my company. Well, if you're always investing in your company, then eventually your company is now this big snowball that you didn't. It was just like this, and all of a sudden you wake up and it's like boom.
That is one thing that I do want to bring up. Now, I've been to your house, and you live like 5 miles away from me or something. Yeah. And when I went, I was like, wait a second. I thought you would live like in a mini mansion with like crazy like waterfalls and like have exotic cars and shit. And then you were like, no, I had a big house before, and like I haven't bought my mini mansion yet. And so I find myself at night, I go on Zillow and I'm looking at these big houses up in Washington Township, and I'm looking at the shit that I haven't had yet. And I know that once I get it, it's, it's just things.
You just want to get rid of them. You're already there. You're a high level thinker, much higher than I would be. And I say this in a respect thing. A lot of us out here, a lot of you guys we're out here, and we're trained as men to go out, and we got to make money. We got to provide this big house. We got to provide this extraordinary life. Those people are the most miserable people I've ever met, because they're literally just working to sustain some fake life that doesn't mean anything. To me, having a small house and stepping over my children because they can't hide out somewhere and live some other life and do something, like, trust me, it's hard, but I can tell you that the closeness of your family, the bigger the house, I can guarantee you the bigger the problems, you're going to have more to clean. I mean, I just like to live simple, and I also like to live, to me, I find joy in the discipline and the things that I don't buy for myself personally. Now, don't get me wrong, the fire truck, that was way out there for me to do that, but I have an intention to use that. But it's all the things that I say no to. I don't need any of that stuff. I live in a small house that's jammed. I like it like that. My kids get to go outside. They have neighbors that they play with on a regular basis, the way I used to play as a kid. So to me, it's living. And my kids, I'm not going to raise kids that are just entitled. They're not. You're going to earn every single thing. I'm going to make you earn every single thing. I'm not giving them anything. I refuse, because I just don't think that shapes our future leaders the way they're supposed to be shaped. If they don't go through anything, how are they supposed to lead people through trauma? How are they supposed to lead through the trials and tribulations when they've never been through any? They have to go through those things. So they just, my kids will say things like, "Oh, you're rich." It's like, no, I'm not. The business makes money. That doesn't mean it's just my money that I get to take and do whatever I want, and I'm not going to waste it. You know, like my son, he's 7. He watches YouTube. He wants a Lambo. It's like, we're never getting a Lambo. Never. I'm not doing it. Not that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just in my life, I feel more fulfillment helping people. So if I can to drive a car like that, I wouldn't feel right. What is it? This car's not practical at all. It doesn't do anything. Nobody wants to be you. They just want your car, and they picture them in the car. There's no reason for the car if you don't, especially if you're just trying to show off, and that's what most people are trying to do is show off, or they want you to think. Well, I just heard this. You're going to compare your life to someone else's highlight reels, and that's not. You have no clue what those people are going through, the struggles. Most of the stuff that you see out there, the flash and all that, it'll never bring you happiness. Invest it back into your company, and your company will keep paying you. And it's just this yin-yang relationship with your company that your company will take care of you, and you take care of your people, and you have your, like you said, your own ecosystem where everybody is not capped. Everybody can make more money. Everybody can do better because I'm not strapping the company because I'm a financial moron.
Jill's office provides friendly, professional receptionists for small business owners just like you. We can help answer your calls, and we can even schedule estimates and jobs for you. Try Jill's office today and get a $25 discount when you say Untrapped. Just go to jillsoffice.com.
You know what
That
I'm
was
saying?
a great way to end that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying it was the end, but like that was not a financial moron.
Well, and I was. I mean, I know that we all have been there. We all have done these things, and we've all done things we shouldn't do. But what's the point if you don't learn from them? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to go out and work to have a house that I'm going to go work 80 hours for a house I can't be at. My wife is having a hard time cleaning it and taking care of it. That doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't sound like fun.
Bro, you know what made me super happy? Yesterday morning I woke up, the first thing I did was I reached up and I got the crock pot. My wife said, "This one crock pot we have is too small." I'm like, "It's a full-size crock." She's like, "I want a huge crock pot." So I bought a big crock pot, and I got a roast with the McCormick's pot roast seasoning and a whole thing of beef bouillon. I got that sucker on at 10 a.m. first thing. And then she wakes up and she starts getting into it. She's washing all, scrubbing every potato and putting the carrots. She's like, "Where's the celery?" I'm like, "Oh, shoot, I didn't get any celery."
Back to the store?
I never go to the grocery store, bro. I just have it all delivered. I was like, "Be back in a flash." So I go to and I'm like, "Do you need anything else?" And I'm rushing around and I'm listening to EOS Method on my Bluetooth headphones about, business stuff. And so I'm getting this and then this, and we come back and we put all the seasonings in, then we take off and we come back and it's like 4:30 p.m. and then we're waiting. And then it's like 6 p.m. and you take the lid off and all the steam comes up and the pot roast is completely falling apart.
Oh, wow.
And I got a thing of like Italian bread.
Was it good?
Yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
And so it's like, but basically it was just my wife and I last night on date night every Tuesday night. And we were just sitting eating this delicious pot roast and spending time together and talking. And I was like, dude, we could be in a 10,000 square foot house and it wouldn't be any different.
Be in the same place.
Or you could be in the same exact place.
The more square footage, you guys, your moment would be no better if you had a bigger house or a nice, it wouldn't. It'd actually probably be worse because there's more distractions. More things need to be taken care of. It's fact. I mean, I lived in big houses. They're maintenance nightmares. Everything breaks.
Maintenance nightmares.
Your light goes out on a split, and now it's not just changing a light bulb. I mean, I know it sounds simple, but you got to have a stick and something that's going to grip the light bulb and then put the light bulb back. It's just little, like stuff like that. Like I remember having a big house up until about 13, 12. And my heat bill back then was like $500 for the month.
$500.
I don't even know what it would be now. Yeah, I don't even know what it would be now. I have no clue. It's probably like $1,500.
Wait, that feels wasteful to me.
Yeah, it is.
I dream of having a house that's got the 30, 40-foot high cathedral
Yeah.
ceilings with like the real wood beams. And then so you feel like, oh, I can breathe in here.
Yeah, this is great. And then you get the bills, and then you see the taxes, and you're like, I really am never going to own this house. Like, even when it's paid for, if you got to spend $2,000-$3,000 on taxes and insurance, it's like you still got to make $40,000 a year just to stay here without even upkeeping it. I think they're traps. That's just my opinion.
Trap.
They're traps.
Unless you're like loaded.
Yeah, I mean, if you're loaded, but I still think there's better ways to spend your money. If you're loaded, then why wouldn't you just keep investing in those things that made you loaded? Right?
Interesting. So speaking of like, I keep thinking about, you went to Greece over the summer.
Yeah. It was September, yeah. When the first time I've been saying yes to things. I've been a recluse my whole life, so I'm saying they say yes to you. My wife wants to go to Greece. I said yes.
Why Greece?
Channel 7 invited us, and I said no, which is typical of me. No, I'm not going to go. No, I'm not going to do this. No, I don't want anybody to do anything nice for me. And they asked my buddy Jeremiah, who owns Brickworks. Maybe we'll have him on one day. He's a great guy. So Jeremiah's like, well, Steve obviously said no, so he says yes. And then they asked me again, Steve, we really want to take you to Greece. You and your wife, you guys, we have it all set up. And Scripps did just, it was awesome. I mean, everything was taken care of, like in terms of like the rooms are beautiful, the views are beautiful, Mykonos is beautiful. And I was able to spend a week with her. And although it was taken care of, it opened my eyes to go, I got to do more of this. Like, am I just going to go to Florida and back for the rest of my life? This is what my life is? Like, I'm not going to know anything else. So traveling to other countries, you don't realize how fortunate we are and the opportunities that we have.
Yeah. Was the food good?
The food was unbelievable.
What'd you eat?
Everything that you could possibly imagine that was Greek, the gyros, the saganaki, everything. And the food's so clean. It's so cheap. It's unbelievable. To hear the local people, the lack of opportunity that's there. It's truly sad in that regard, because they basically work as much 60 to 70 hours and they make 1,000 euros a month. 1,000 euros doesn't even pay the rent. So both the husband and the wife have to work, and they can literally work their whole lives, and they'll never own anything. They'll always rent, and they'll always just get by because they're taxed. They're hyper taxed. I think it's like 29% sales tax.
What?
We're exempt from that tax. If you go buy something, you get your money back. But like even going to dinner, it's like you look at the bill and it's like, that was $40. This would have been like $200 dinner here. There's a 27% tax, but the people are taxed so hard there that you don't even realize what opportunity we have until you leave the country and see what else is out there. I mean, I thought Greece was like just rich people and Europeans had tons of money. 99% of those people are barely making it, and they have they don't have credit. There's no like end for them. It's just they're going to do the same thing until maybe somebody gets lucky in the family. But that part of it made me more grateful to be where I am, even though there's so many problems going on in the world right now. I still believe we're in the freest place that we could be, because being over there you could feel it. The people I talked to, it was just sad. I didn't realize, because I've been so in this bubble, the opportunities that I have and opportunities I've squandered. These people would die to have one of them, one opportunity, one thing to look forward to. That part was pretty depressing, but the alone time with my wife was fantastic. But she agreed with me. She was like, I didn't know this. Like, it's super cheap to go there. Everything, I mean, the hotels are about as much as it costs to stay here, but the food, you literally can eat like a king for $50, you and your wife.
Wow.
I mean, we were eating sushi by the water. I mean, the waves are crashing up, You can feel the sea. Just it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
We last night with date night, my wife and I, we watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding Part 3 just came out.
It's my wife's favorite movie.
Oh, Part 3?
No, I don't think she's seen 3 yet, but My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I think she has seen 3, but that's her favorite movie.
And yeah, that's why it also made me think of that. The first half of the movie, you're like, what's going on here? Have you seen it?
I haven't.
Okay, but then as the movie starts taking off, bro, I just kept getting emotional. At points I was crying. I'm like, why am I crying? What's happening to me? Like, I don't normally cry during movies, but it was something very sentimental about family and togetherness. It's amazing, bro. So is there anything that else, before we wrap this up, that's on your mind that you wish we would have talked about, that's on your heart? Steve DHondt?
I have a brick paver company. I have a wonderful life, and I'm blessed from Jesus, and I hope that any of you out there that are struggling, I just pray that, you know, you get that discernment and you get the help that you need, because we all are supposed to have abundance. We're all supposed to live above and not below. So I root for everybody out there. I'm always going to push for the underdog. I love the underdog. I'm a Lions fan, obviously.
I was just looking at your
Yeah, I mean, I've been an underdog my whole life, so I like to be the underdog because I like to prove people wrong, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and a lot of it has to do with just getting yourself mentally equipped to handle things and
spiritually, too, bro.
Spiritually, can I show it?
Yeah, you gotta see this T-shirt he's wearing. Jesus, let me get wide shot. The ultimate. Now pull the top so they can read it.
It says Jesus, the ultimate deadlifter,
and he's sitting there. Jesus is wearing a big toga with sandals, and he's deadlifting like a barbell with dumbbells on the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I love. I mean, that's part of it for me. The joy. I mean, I did very well even before I followed Jesus financially, but I always had that. I always felt unfulfilled, and now that I'm filled that way, and just I want to be a good steward. I want to serve people. It just, how can you not be a better person with having Jesus in your life?
100%, I agree with you.
So that's what I want to say is if bring Jesus into your life, and if there's any help, reach out. I would love to help Keith in anything he does. I believe in Keith. I think Keith is a mastermind. He's a genius. This place is unbelievable. I'm just happy and blessed to be here.
Bro, Steve DHondt, thank you so much for being on the Untrapped podcast again, bro. This will be out soon. If you're listening to it on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, Stitcher, everywhere the podcasts are. And then stop by keithkelfis.com if you want to learn more about Steve DHondt. Where can they find you or your social media?
It's PMS. We're the guys. PMS Brick Pavers. We're the guys on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok. I'm the brick guy. I did a video, and the brick guy just blew up. This one video blew up, so I have like 90 whole followers there, so you can find me there too. I have 90 followers on TikTok, almost 50 on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm a recluse, so I'm a slow starter, but I'm gonna go hard the next 5 years.
Love it. All right, that concludes the show, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hey, I hope you liked the show. And if you like the Untrapped podcast and you get value from it, can you please take a minute and go over to Spotify and leave it a well-worded positive 5-star review? It helps boost the rankings on Spotify so the show can get to more people. Therefore, these messages can get out to more people and inspire more people so then they can go out and start their small businesses and crush it and get to the next level. It's a huge deal. All right, I'll see you in the next show.
Thank you.